Ghostwriters are a thing. Get over it. I hate to break this to you, but your favourite celebrity didn't write that book. A ghost did. Shocking. Not really, but for some reason, every time the curtain gets pulled back and people realise that Ashton Famous didn't hand type every word of that 300-page memoir, the internet acts like it's called Santa Claus smoking behind the mall. So let's talk about it. Ghostwriting isn't a dirty little secret. It's not a scandal, it's not even rare. It's a foundational part of the publishing industry, and it has been for centuries at this point. What's surprising to me isn't that ghostwriters exist, but that so many people don't understand how they work. The outrage, the performative outrage, the pearl clutching, the moral high ground people try to take over the use of ghostwriters is wildly misinformed. So, like, sub, tell me what you think in the comments on here, and check out membership and Patreon for exclusive content. So let's break it down. Here's what ghostwriting actually is, how it works, and why it's time to stop treating it like an industry-wide lie. Okay, this is the starting point. A book author isn't always the person who actually wrote it. That's not a trick, it's a collaboration. Sometimes the author is the storyteller, the life lived, the voice. The ghostwriter is the one that shapes that incoherent babble from our brains, that voice, into something that we can live on paper. Think about it. Celebrities, athletes, business moguls, influencers, they're not writers, they're performers, experts, public figures, or thinkers. That might have a powerful story, a unique journey, or a fresh idea, but having a story doesn't mean you know how to structure it narratively, build tension, craft a clear arc, or write a compelling poise. That's what ghostwriting is. They take raw stories, often told in chaotic, emotional conversations, and turn them into a book that reads like the person lived it and wrote it themselves because they did live it. They just didn't write it, and that's okay. And ghostwriting is older than most of the books on your shelf. Let's get historical for a moment. Ghostwriting is not a modern invention. It's been around for as long as publishing itself. Presidential speeches, ghostwritten. Famous autobiographies, ghostwritten. Religious commentaries, self-help books, inspirational memoirs, ghostwritten. Even beloved children's fiction like The Hardy Boys, Sweet Valley High, and Nancy Drew are all ghostwritten under a house name. Hell, some of the most quoted figures in history, world leaders, philosophers, even poets, didn't always pen their own words. That's it. They had scripts, assistants, editors, collaborators. It's part of the tradition. So when someone gets up in arms because a pop star didn't write every word of their memoir about trauma and triumph, it's not just naive, it's historically uninformed. So what do ghostwriters actually do? Here's a peek behind the scenes from someone who does it. Most ghostwriters projects begin with hours, sometimes dozens of hours of interviews. The ghostwriter listens, records, asks questions, digs into details. The goal is to understand not just the facts of the person's life, but their voice, their personality, their way of thinking. Then comes research, background digging, reading past interviews, other books, social media posts, speeches, anything that gives texture and context to the subject. A ghostwriter has to become the voice they're writing in. From there, they build the structure, chapter, themes, arcs. They write the first draft. They revise, they work with the editor, sometimes even with the publisher directly, and for it all, the ghost is invisible. There's no applause, no book tour, no fame, just a very nice paycheck and a job well done. It's genuinely a skilled profession, one that combines journalism, storytelling, editing, interviewing, and empathy, and yet people act like it's cheating. There's a huge um, misconception that using ghostwriter is unethical, that if you don't write every word yourself, you're somehow faking it. But let's talk about this. When you hire a wedding photographer, do you claim you took the photos yourself? When a CEO works with a speechwriter in their keynotes, dishonest? When a film credits the screenwriter but the actor gets the spotlight. Is that a scandal? Of course not. We understand that creative industries rely on collaboration. Publishing is no different. The name on the cover is often a brand, the voice, the idea generated. The ghostwriter is the person that creates it, and that's exactly what we're hired to do. They aren't being tricked. We know the role. That's it. And we are compensated very, very, very well. And many, including myself, choose to stay anonymous. And they sign agreements, NDA and all. It's a job. A respected one. And honestly, the paycheck is very good. Sometimes they do get credit. You see the ghostwriter's name or with or as told by or the thank you. Other times, the ghost remains fully anonymous by choice or by contract, but usually by choice. And here's the truth: credit isn't always the goal. For many ghostwriters, the draw is the work itself, the paycheck, the craft, the flexibility, not the fame. It's not. Is it wrong not to credit someone who wrote the work? Not if that is the agreement. If the ghost is okay with staying in the shadows and they're paid fairly, that's not exploitation, that's professional agreement. Now, if someone lies and says they wrote every word without a ghost when they didn't, that's where things get a bit dicey, but even then the real crime is ego, not the ghost. People love to point fingers at celebrity memoirs, but ghostwriters are everywhere. Cookbooks, business books, spiritual guides, fitness programs, historical works, even academic texts, even some novels, especially when a high-profile person is trying to publish quickly. And I know that stress firsthand. We have 3 weeks to get this done. Let's be honest. A ghostwriter is what makes it possible, and it's how the publishing industry runs. And guess what? Many of those books wouldn't exist at all without a ghostwriter. These projects don't always start with a finished manuscript. They start with a phone call and an idea, or an email, and a 2-hour Zoom meeting. Yes, pain. I hate Zoom. There's this romantic idea that a great book is always the work of one solitary genius at their desk, typing away at night. And sure, that exists, but it's not the norm, especially in commercial publishing. Many books are the product of many hands: editors, proofreaders, marketeers, designers, and yes, sometimes ghostwriters. So maybe it's time to stop demanding that every story is 100% solitary and pure. Maybe what matters more is whether the story is worth telling and whether it's worth being told. And if a ghostwriter helps you bring that to life, that's not a lie. That's literature, and it has been part of, especially non-fiction, for a very long time.